It's no secret that Honda has a long history of building excellent small cars. And for the most part, these small cars have been coupled to high revving performance engines, great gearboxes and clever chassis design. And what that adds up to is a great driver's car, which brings us to this new CRZ. It happens to have just such an engine, but it's also a hybrid. So what exactly should we expect from it? Inside, the CRZ looks and feels like a Honda should. In fact, from the driver's seat, there's echoes of the old CRX everywhere you look. There's a simplicity to the layout of the dash and the gauges, and it all looks very familiar. I like the way the audio system's laid out. All of the functionality is simple, the buttons are easy to use, everything makes sense. Same goes for the air conditioning and even the controls for the drive system, where you can choose between sport, normal and eco modes. Thankfully, there's none of that fussy design that you often see with hybrids purely for the sake of it. The CRZ is nicely laid out and a very comfortable interior. There's not much room in the back seats though, so for the sake of this review, we'll refer to the CRZ as a two-seater. There is, however, plenty of room in the front seats, even for people who are over 6 feet tall like me. Exceptional adjustment for the seats and the steering wheel controls means that it's easy to get comfortable for drivers of most heights. Back here, there's plenty of CRX about the design as well, and that's despite the CRZ being very modern and sharp. This split design tailgate, where you've got glass here and here, is very much like the original CRX. It does tend to limit visibility from the driver's seat because there's a big bar through here, but from the back it actually looks really attractive. This deep hatch design is quite clever as well. It maximises the space available. There's a retractable luggage cover here that covers your valuables, and the space down into here is quite deep. You can put as many bags in here as you'd really need for 2 people, and if you need more space, all you need to do is just flip that front seat forward. Under the bonnet there's a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder engine, naturally aspirated, and that's married to an electric motor. Now combined, they deliver 91 kilowatts and 174 newton metres. That's not massive power by any means, but what the key here is that the CRZ is actually a comparative lightweight. It weighs in at just over 1100 kilos. Now the CRZ is what's called a mild hybrid. What that means is that the traditional hybrids, the electric engine, can actually power the wheels on its own. With a mild hybrid like this, it never powers the wheels on its own, rather it assists the petrol engine. Now you've got 3 modes to choose from: Eco, Sport and Normal. In Eco mode there's very little assistance from the electric engine, so the car feels a little bit dull and lifeless. But if you click it through to Sport mode, you can immediately feel the electric engine kick in, gives a lot more assistance, and you can feel all of that power and torque, and it's actually quite fun to drive. In Eco mode, the CRZ is extremely frugal on fuel, and it only uses an ADR claimed 4.7 litres per 100 kilometres. The 6-speed manual's smooth and it's slick, and it shifts really nicely up and down through the gears, and the chassis balance is really exceptional. Now, don't forget that this is a very light car as well, so while it doesn't make a massive amount of power, the fact that it's so light means that it actually handles really well. The steering has a really nice weight to it. It feels good when you tip it into a corner and when you roll out of the corner, and you can actually hustle this car along quite fast if the mood takes you on a twisty country road. Who thought being environmentally friendly could be so much fun? It's an interesting equation, the CRZ. As tested here, the Sport model is only going to set you back $34,990. Now interestingly, the Sport model, which also happens to be the entry-level model, is the most fun to own. Now sure, you miss out on sat-nav and leather seats, but you get a fantastic manual gearbox thrown into the mix. Now the luxury model sets you back a tick over $40,000, so it's still quite cheap. But if you enjoy a sporting drive, you go for the Sport model. It's cheap comparative to the rest of the market, and it's a fantastic little driver's car as well.